And so a lot of people are thinking about things, mulling things over.
So you assume the people who are walking by when you're preaching out there actually take in anything you say, and you actually think it actually has an effect.
Absolutely.
Well,
I do.
there's really they walk past, they don't stop and listen.
You don't know.
There's nothing to engage.
You don't know.
The people who already
Man
believe,
looks at the outward appearance.
the
God
people
looks
who
at
already believe in a God might agree with some of the things you say,
I was
but
actually in Miami Beach the other day, and
the people.
I want to just tell this one story real quick.
But let me say that the people are not really going to be engaged unless there's opposition there to have a discussion with. It happens all the time. Back in the 90s when I was out here, there's preachers. Listen, there's preachers out here out in the 90s who preach out here, and no one would give a shit. We just walk past them. It wasn't until I engaged them, the circle formed around them. People actually cared to listen because there was some actual to listen to.
Is it really they care to listen? They want to see a sideshow at the carnival.
But it pretty much is a carnival because you're saying crazy things, but no one cares until a reasonable person purchases it. Well, hard to muscle, so I don't use metaphors really.
But you don't know.
No, but it's pretty. You can look at the behavior.
I've been in Miami Beach at the corner of Lincoln and Washington, pretty much the busiest intersection in the campus. After I've been there like 3-4 days, this young guy, Jewish guy, not a follower of Jesus, stops and says, "You know what? Every time I've been walking by here, I've heard you say something really interesting that caught my attention." And he said, "I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you're saying." And then he said, "Will you bless me?" I said, at first I didn't know.
He already believes in that stuff.
He believes in a God.
Right. So he was already on that path.
Most people believe in a God.
Well, at least 30, roughly about 30% of the American population are atheistic. So, and it's growing. More atheists.
You don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we pretty much know that. We pretty much know that.
90% of statistics are made up on the spot.
People believe in general. That doesn't make any sense in and of itself. You're assuming that God cares if people do or don't believe in him because there's salvation in that. But why would God care about how he operates through somebody else based on whether somebody else who might be listening does or doesn't believe it? That doesn't make any sense. It's like you say you don't.
Why would a God care about that anyone believes in him? Right?
Do you care about anything? Why do you care about somebody listening to you or not?
Huh?
Why do you care?
Because I care about education and awareness.
Why?
Because I think truth matters.
Okay, so you assume there is truth.
Truth is the degree to which a statement corresponds with reality. And when you make assertions, when you make assertions that something exists and you can't show it, then it's not a truthful statement.
You're making assumptions that something that
I'm the skeptic. I'm not the one making. I'm not the one making assertions.
Yes, you are. Your assertion.
You're asserting is that there's no God.
If I ever say there is no God, no. If I ever say there's no, hold on. If I ever say there is no God, I can only say as confidently as I can say like there is no tooth fairy or there's no Tinkerbell. Right? I can't prove there is no God. Just like I can't prove there is no Tinkerbell. Okay? So the burden of proof is always on the one with a positive assertion. It's the person who says there is a Tinkerbell, who says there is a God, who has the burden of proof, who must say is true.
That's what do you call that? A red herring?
That's not a red herring. That's actually logic. That's how it works.
It's not logic.
Yeah.
You're picking something that's obviously
66 books with 40 different authors and the story all.
We don't even know who the authors are.
2,000, 3,000. Yeah, we don't know who the authors are, but we know there were a lot of authors and their stories all line up and all agree with each other.
But that doesn't show us that what a God is and that one exists, does it? It has nothing to do with it.
If you read the words, it does.
No, it does not.
The Bible itself.
But then you'd be able to. How does it tell us what a God is and how one exists? How?
You said in the beginning, God created.
That's just a story. Why should we believe that's true?
How do you know it's a story?
Because he just said it to me.
No, to prove that it's
so
just
he
a
needs
story.
to because he has no evidence to suggest
I'm
it.
saying you prove that it's not true.
You're not understanding how it works.
No,
you're not understanding logic. He is saying
no.
When you say you're not listening. You're not.
That there's no God. Prove that there's no God.
You're asking me to
In other
disprove.
words, okay,
You're asking me.
this
Listen to
building
me.
have a
Listen
designer.
to
Let
me.
say,
Stop.
I don't
Stop.
believe this building had a
It doesn't
designer.
matter.
So I'm making,
It doesn't. Stop.
You think this building had a
I'm
designer?
not going to be
No,
able to
I'm asking
respond.
you a question.
I'm trying to respond.
I'm asking
All
you a
right, I'm
question.
responding.
Do you think this building
Oh
had a
my
designer
God!
and an architect?
Can I respond
Did
now?
somebody
Can
build
I?
this?
Can I respond to
I
your
want
question?
you to know
I'm not
your
going to have you
opinion.
keep asking me
Did
questions.
somebody build this
Hold
building?
on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to respond. If someone says that something exists, it's not up to the skeptic to disprove that
Who made
person.
that definition?
It's called logic. See, you don't
No,
understand
it's not called
basic.
logic.
You're
You
not
don't make a
understanding
statement
basic
and
logic.
say it's logic. That's
If
a
you-
circular reasoning. What
If
I
you go
believe
into a
is
court of
logic.
law, is it up to the defendant to prove they're innocent? No, the prosecution must prove they're guilty.
First of all, court of law, we're talking about man-made rules.
Okay.
Man-made,
So you think anyone should be able to say anything exists? It's up to other people to prove it's wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I'm
If
not-
I tell
what
you,
I'm saying-
if I tell you that Tinkerbell is real, is it up to you to show me that it's not? Is it?
66 books written on Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
What does it matter how many
There's
books?
not- there's
I can
not-
write
there's
66
not-
books.
Okay,
There's
so
not a
people
billion
can-
people
people can
saying
have-
Tinkerbell.
What do
is
books
true.
matter? What do amount of books matter? What does that matter?
When books are record of observations over thousands
How does the amount of
Are you
books
saying anything-
help validate
Okay,
the existence
so
of
that
something
anything
we know
written
nothing
by
about?
book can't be true. By definition, if it's in a book, it can't be true, is what you're saying?
No, I'm
Why are
asking
in
you how
college?
the books
Why are
show
you in
that a
college?
God
Well,
exists.
You're not in college, you're here. But why are you here? What books have you read that you can prove every detail? Yourself.
See, why are you asking me these questions without
I want
answering?
to come back to the building. Do you think there was a designer, in other words, an architect, and do you think there were
Yep.
builders of this building?
Yep.
Okay, so you're making a positive claim. Okay, I say there's no builders and there's no architect.
Okay.
And I don't have to defend that because
Well, you can
you're
go
making
find
a
the plans,
positive
to go
claim.
find the blueprints. We can have evidence that the man can't made them.
So there's
Right.
evidence we can find. Well,
Yep.
same with the Bible. There's a lot of evidence we can find.
Really? Like what?
Archaeological
Okay,
evidence.
then tell me what a God is and how we know one exists.
That's no way. That's a whole different issue.
No, it's not. Listen,
No,
if you're going to say
you're-
something
first, you're
exists,
degrading
you need
a
to
book.
define what it is. We can't just believe in something we know
God is
nothing
the
about.
creator of all things. He's the source of all
How do you
things.
know? How do you know?
Well,
Are
again,
you
come
assuming
back
that
to a
God
book
wouldn't
called the
want to be
Bible.
known if you're assuming that God may or may not exist? Even if we have that
Huh?
solid enough middle ground to assume like, hey, God may or may not exist. I know you don't believe God exists in general.
I don't even know what a God is, so
Okay. You believe that if God were to exist, that he wouldn't want to be known, that is just too far out of our reach for God to be known in general. That doesn't make any sense in it.
I don't understand what you're trying to say here.
The same. There is all-knowing God who knows everything from top to bottom down to a molecular
Okay.
to an anatomical level.
Okay.
So we're assuming that God wouldn't want to be known by people.
Well, I didn't know what it is, so what does it matter whether I think it wants to be known or not? I didn't even know what it is in the first place, so why would I even get to that?
So you're assuming that the book itself has no credibility.
When the book says there is a God, we don't even know what that is, so why should we believe it?
So that God, because God inspired people to write it.
How do
from
we
the
know
Spirit.
that?
It's all laid out in the book.
No, just because the book says it doesn't mean it's true. How do we know that's true? Just because the book says it's true doesn't mean therefore it's true. We must show that it's true. If you want to say a God inspired people to write it, you must show how that happened. You can't just say, well, the book says it, because that's the first thing in question to begin with. You can't use a book to prove itself, to justify itself. You must show how we know a God inspired people. And that's the problem. And if you can't even define what it is, then how do you ever expect to get to that, answer that question? Because we have to know what it is we're believing in before we believe in it. If I say that a blah exists, you don't even know what it is. First question that comes to your mind is, what is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Would you believe in a blah without knowing what it is? No. For the same token, I should not believe in a God unless I know what it is. We have to know what we're talking
So
about.
then what do you say for testimony? People say that God spoke audibly as they saw a meaningful change in their life.
People
And
have changes in their life all the time. Doesn't mean that God had anything to do with it.
And what about deliverance? People getting demons cast out of them like Jesus.
There's no
did
reason to
out
believe
of his
demons exist. That's just the stories. Those are just stories. See, you're jumping to conclusions without having a reason to believe. You believe in something without good reason. That's an exercise in gullibility and ignorance.
See, if the book lays it out and I see it happen in real life, would that
I can
not
write a
prove
book
the world in
that
the book?
predicts someone's going to win the lottery this weekend. And if they win it, and in that book I also put the tooth fairy's real. If that person wins the lottery, does that mean the tooth fairy's real? Because they have nothing to do with each other.
A one-time occasion, in contrast to things happening over thousands of years, the evidence laid out by people who walked with Jesus.
We didn't even know Jesus was a real person.
even historical.
No, it's highly questionable. Highly questionable. Even if we did, we have nothing written during his lifetime, and we also we're not going to know he's more than a person, even if we could show he's a real person. So it's all in the Bible. You can't use the Bible to justify itself.
What? So I guess I really wonder just what's the overall goal? Is it to inspire just deeper thought with the
education and awareness is what I'm all about. I think it's very important for anything we believe in the world, anything, and God is not an exception at all. Anything we believe in, we must know what it is, and we must have a reason to believe that it's real. Anything that's said to exist. We shouldn't exclude God from it just because it's got the heebie-jeebie woo-woo, stuff about it that doesn't make any sense, and it's been like that for so long. We shouldn't do that. Everything should be definable and scientifically shown to be true, because that's what we have, science. That's how science works, right? Scientific method. Why should we not apply that to a God?
So God would exist outside of those rules.
Well, that's a story, but it's not. You can't know that's true. All you know is it through the Bible. But then when you're asked how you know the Bible's true, you have nothing to go on.
Okay. But then you discredit testimony as well.
Testimony is not valid evidence.
I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. If I write a story, I have to get at least 3 people to confirm one point. If hundreds upon hundreds, thousands upon thousands, even millions of people have had direct testimony.
But you understand it's a lowest form of evidence, right? People's stories, lowest form of evidence. Just because a bunch of people say that there's a God doesn't mean there is one. Right? Just because a bunch of books are written doesn't mean that what the books talk about are true. That just means a bunch of books are written. Right? We have to actually take the idea that asserts and look at it through a magnifying glass, say, what is that and how do we know?
So how would you test God with the scientific method?
How would I don't know. I'm not the one saying that God exists. I can't tell you what evidence is required. It's up to the person who says there is a God to give evidence for people to test.
So I guess you're just assuming that evidence is... What's up? Sure.
So if you're saying that God can't be proved by people and telling stories, how do you know that science is true? Is there people who wrote those things?
Well, because whenever a scientist comes to a conclusion, there's always writings and stuff that they leave that you can reproduce for yourself. That's the whole point. The whole thing behind scientific research is to leave your findings and how you got to that conclusion so other people can replicate. That's what peer review is all about. That's why when people find a conclusion, they send off their information and other scientists try to reproduce it because they have all the data that the scientists went by. So that's a difference. And we don't have that with the God. All we have is people just saying...
There are plenty of things in the Bible that have been proven over and over.
Well, burning bushes, talking, people walk on water, sticks turning to snakes. Did those things happen?
Yes, they did.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. A little bit of a problem there. No, we don't know. People rising from the dead for 3 days. Does that happen?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, we have no evidence of any of that stuff. Sorry, no.
And we have no evidence that we're actually real, do we?
Well, if you're going to question anything, then you just threw away your belief in the God, because then you're going to question that as well.
I'm
So.
not throwing away my belief in God at all.
Okay, well then if
It
you.
will not get me to deny my belief in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, okay, well then that just shows that you are closed-minded. Well, you're not using logic and reason.
I'm listening to what you have to say, but that's not going to change what I believe.
Right, that's being closed-minded.
No.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Just because you can't
Yeah, it's being closed-minded.
change my belief does not mean I'm closed-minded.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It means you will not listen to actual evidence or reason that you could be wrong. I'm always willing to listen if I'm wrong and go by what shows to exist. Okay, if you're saying there's no way I'm going to change my mind, that's being rock solid and not willing to listen. Not willing. You're refusing to learn, and that's bad.
I'm not refusing to learn. I will gladly sit there and listen.
You just said you wouldn't. You just said I can't change my mind. You can't change my mind.
That doesn't mean you're going to.
That means that you're not willing to learn. That means you're resistant to learning and changing your mind. But you're not willing to change your mind.
I'm not going to change.
Okay, well then that means you don't care to learn. Let me tell you something. What you believe or not is not dependent on what you really want. It depends on how well educated you are. Belief is a subconscious thing. It happens subconsciously. Whether you believe in a God or not depends on how well educated your brain is on that topic. So maybe in the future you'll listen to something like, oh wow, I guess I was wrong, and then you'll stop believing, like many people do. Well, it's not a virtue to believe in something that's fallacious like a God and stick by it and not change your mind. That's not a virtue. That's actually a bad thing.
I'm not against it. If I ever change my mind, that's my own problem.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you, it's not good for society to believe in things which are incorrect. to believe in things that are false?
No, I don't think so.
I think truth matters. Big time. That's why religion uses the word truth in it all the time. Because it's such a pretty word. They want it, but they just fail to obtain it.
I'm gonna head home.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Cancer?
Save a life, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, cancer sucks.
Alright, come here, man.
But what really upsets me is that people give all the funding to breast cancer and they don't really give much to prostate cancer. What's that?
We're a non-profit organization. We get no
But I'm
funding.
glad I got someone here to...
I can amen to that all day.
Oh my gosh, I hate it so
The
much.
whole month of October,
What's
the
that?
whole month of October, everything's pink washed.
Oh, it's like where the men are shit on. You know what I mean? November 19th is their only day, and Google won't even recognize it. They keep the same logo on there. You know, they got a new logo for everything. Women's Day, everything. For Men's Day, stays the same.
Help us with blood cancer by joining the different type of cancer.
What is it?
Blood cancer.
Oh, blood cancer.
To become a stem cell donor. Stem cell who's got a leukemia.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You think you did that or whatever?
So what is this about? What is the deal here?
So what you would be doing today is joining the registry. Our donors cure blood cancer.
I'm not sure I want to join any cult, man.
Stop fighting. Not a cult. You can always now you made me lose my train of thought. So when you join the non-cult of Gift of Life, you have a 1 in 1,350 chance of ever being home with someone's life-saving match. If you are lucky enough to get that call, 90% of the time they ask you to donate stem cells. If they ever donate,
Okay, so I'm not giving a pointed pat or anything like that, right?
It's blood. They take your blood. They filter out the stem cells. They give your blood back. You say hello.
I gave blood before in high school. I couldn't lift for like a week or two. It sucked.
Dude, you're going to be able to lift.
Huh?
100%. You'll be able to lift. I did it.
Yep. I couldn't lift for like a week or two.
Do you want
Yeah,
to
but
do
imagine your poor patient who may never lift again.
All you have to do...
Hey man, you gotta call the population something.
All you have to do is just wipe your cheeks. It's so easy.
Trying to convince him. I'm
Alright.
done with him.
Appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Alright, man.
Sign up to save a life.
That was an unexpected little discussion. Hope you guys liked it. Sure you don't want to debate?
Not today, man. But I will.
I bet you next time I come by you'll say not that day either, huh?
No, I'm not afraid of it. I just don't.
Well, if you're not afraid of it, then you do it.
No, I want to be.
You want to take some upper first? You want to take some pot or
I already
something?
had my
Get
co-
yourself ready?
I had a coffee already.
Get some
I would send my
cocaine in you?
second
Get
coffee
yourself
down.
ready? No?
No,
Okay.
but But no, I appreciate the idea, and I just want to.
Well, that's the only way you're gonna get people around you is with me there, or someone like me. It's the only way. Otherwise, people will keep walking by, and if you think that what you say is so powerful, then you will invite that and think that you have an edge, and you'll invite that, and we'll do it. If you think you're so right. All right. See ya. Well, before he was like, yeah, I'll think about it, and then finally, this is like weeks later. It's like a month or two later, dude, since I had a discussion with that guy, as you guys know. And now he's just like shying away. I mean, if he thinks he's so right, he would like to have an audience, and I will give him one. So I saw the guy coming by and his little Jesus shit sign, and so I asked him if he wanted to go ahead and do it. I had my microphone in my backpack, which I do, because he has an extra slot in it, and he chickened out. And then that's when the black guy came up, and he's obviously pro-God as well, and he's joined in, and then it took from there. So it's a nice little content for you guys. Like, I don't understand, like, how stupid do you have to be? You can't. Like, it makes no sense. So if I say something is real, it's not. It's up to you to disprove it. Is that the way it works? It makes no sense at all. I don't know. Let me pull over here and give the rest of my speech here. All right, guys. As you noticed, I started giving shorts in my thing. I'm using OBS, and I'm using OBS. And I learned how to use OBS in a certain frame size, and then so on the other screen I line up the video that's already on YouTube, and then I just line it up and I record it. And then I open up in Premiere, and then I cut it. And that's how I've been doing my shorts. I really don't know if it's going to help grow my channel at all, but I figure it's better than nothing. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think my channel's worth salvaging? Do you think that I can get more subs? I mean, I know subs aren't really the tell-all of everything, but they're still seen as important. Obviously, I don't have the views, so, let me know what you guys think. That'd be helpful. Thanks, guys. Peace.